Bonjour et bienvenue à la chaîne Begin French with Richa. So in today's video, we will learn about the adjectives in French and we will also learn how to use them in the phrases, as some adjectives are to be used before the noun, some adjectives are to be used after the noun, and there are some adjectives too which can be used before and after the noun both. But it depends upon the meaning of the sentence. So we will discuss such adjectives in detail in this video. So first of all, let us learn how to pronounce the adjectives in French. It will be les adjectifs, les adjectifs, les adjectifs. So now, first of all, move forward to the adjectives which are to be used before the noun. So as you may know that the adjectives in French must be used according to the gender of the noun. So that's why the adjectives must be categorized under, must be divided under masculine and feminine, masculine and feminine. So the first adjective which is to be used before the noun is grand. Grand. Grand refers to big or tall, both. Grand. So the feminine form is grande. So I have written in the bracket the feminine change in the spelling. Grande. Grande. So it's the feminine form of grande. So big or tall. So let's take the example. If we have to use this grand in a phrase, suppose if you have to say this is a tall man, so it will be c'est un grand homme, c'est un grand homme. This is a tall man. So we are using grand before the noun, grand homme. Similarly, you can use grande but with the feminine gender nouns. Now the next adjective is petit. Petit. Petit means small. Petit. So the feminine form will be petite. Petite, having an E in the end. Generally what we do to make the feminine form of the adjective, we put an E. Petit. Petite. Petit. Petite. Now just take an example of the feminine form here. If you have to say she is a small girl, so it will be elle est une petite fille. Elle est une petite fille. She is a small girl. So we are using petite before fille, before a noun. So similarly, you can use this petit before the masculine nouns. Now the third adjective will be bon. Bon. Bon refers to good, and in the feminine form it will be bonne, double N E. Bonne, bonne, bon, bonne. Now here, we just take an example again of the feminine form. If you have to say, this is a good idea. So idea, idée is feminine. So how you will say, c'est une bonne idée. C'est une bonne idée. It's a good idea, or this is a good idea. C'est une bonne idée. We are using bonne before idée. So similarly, you can use bon, before a noun. The next adjective is mauvais. Mauvais. Mauvais is bad, and the feminine form will be mauvaise. Mauvaise, having an E in the end. That's why we have to pronounce this consonant S. Mauvais, mauvaise. So similarly, you can frame the phrase, and you have to use this adjective before the noun. Now the another adjective is joli. Joli. Joli, and joli is like pretty or nice. So in the feminine form, you have to put a E in the end, joli, and the pronunciation will remain the same for the masculine and feminine, joli. This adjective also must be used before the noun. Now the another adjective of such type is laid. Laid. Laid means ugly. Laid. Laid means ugly. Now the feminine form will be laid. 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 So this is also to be used before the noun. Now the another adjective is vieux. Vieux. Vieux refers to old. Now the feminine form, as the spelling entirely changes, so that's why I have written the whole spelling in the bracket vieille. Vieux. Vieille. Vieux. Vieille is old. Now just take an example of the feminine vieille. Suppose if you have to say she is an old lady, so elle est une vieille dame. Dame refers to lady. Elle est une vieille dame. So vieille is to be used before the noun. So similarly, you can use VO with the masculine nouns. Now the another adjective is gross. Gross. The feminine form will be double S. Gross. Gross refers to fat or thick. This adjective is also to be used before the noun gross. Now the another is jeune. Jeune refers to young, and as the adjective already ends with E, so in the feminine form it will remain the same. Jeune. Now just take an example here for jeune. If you have to say this is a young girl, c'est une jeune fille. C'est une jeune fille. This is a young girl. So with fille we are using jeune, and jeune is using before the noun. Now the another adjective is beau, and the feminine form is belle. Beau refers to nice, handsome, or the belle as the feminine, you can say the beautiful or nice again. Beau, belle. Now just take an example of beau. You have to say this is a handsome boy. So c'est un beau garçon. Garçon is a boy. C'est un beau garçon. So notice we are repeatedly linking the vowel and the consonant sound. C'est un beau garçon. This is a handsome boy. If you are referring to a girl, you can use belle before the noun. Now the another is nouveau. Nouveau refers to new. Nouveau refers to new, and the feminine form, the entire spelling I have written here, nouvelle. Though nouvelle also refers to news, but here we are referring to adjective, so it is new, naya. Nouveau, nouvelle. Nouveau, nouvelle is new. Suppose if we have to take an example of the feminine, so how we will say this is a new house. C'est une nouvelle maison. Maison is feminine in French, so that's why we have to use nouvelle and before the noun. C'est une nouvelle maison. This is a new house. C'est une nouvelle maison. Now there are some more adjectives which are to be used before the noun. So what are these? Chaque, each, tout, all, plusieurs, several, and then quelques, some, dernier, dernière, last, premier, première, first. So such adjectives are also to be used before the noun, but be cautious in using the adjective dernier and premier, as it depends upon the meaning of the sentence. Let's take the example of a dernier. Like, suppose if the dernier is referring to the number or the counting, then we have to use dernier before the noun. Suppose the example, this is the last metro of the day. So this is the last metro of the day. Here we are referring to, suppose like 20 metros are running throughout the day. So this is the last one. So this is like the 20th one of the entire day. So that's why here dernier will come before the noun. And now the sentence goes, c'est le dernier métro du jour. C'est le dernier métro du jour. Now, if you have to use this adjective, but referring to time, not number, time, then we have to use it after the noun. Suppose if the sentence goes, last week I visited Louvre. Louvre is the famous museum of France. So last week I visited Louvre. So here the sentence is like suggesting when I visited the Louvre last week. So it is referring to time. That's why we will use this dernier after the noun. And here the sentence goes, la semaine dernière, j'ai visité le Louvre. La semaine dernière, j'ai visité le Louvre. We are using the feminine form of dernier because semaine is feminine, and we are using it after the noun as it is referring to time. Similarly, you have to be very cautious in using the adjective premier and première. Now we will learn adjectives which are to be used after the noun. In French, almost 80% of the French adjectives are to be used after the noun. Some of them, you can see, can be categorized under in these three divisions, like adjective of colors, adjective of nationalities and adjective of shape and size. So we will discuss them one by one along with the examples. So let's take the example first of all of the colors, as the colors are adjective and they have to be used after the noun. So let's take the example of the blue color, bleu. How to use in a sentence? Suppose elle choisit une robe bleue. Elle choisit une robe bleue, which means she chooses a blue dress. Okay, in English we have to use blue before dress, but in French we have to use after the noun. And here this bleu we are using the feminine form because of the robe. Robe is feminine. Elle choisit, choisit means to choose. Elle choisit une robe bleue. So the similar example of like the plural form we can take like ce sont des livres bleus. Ce sont des livres bleus. These are blue color books, or these are blue books. So we are using the plural form of blue after livre, after the noun. Ce sont des livres bleus. Similarly, all the adjectives you can use like this after the noun. Now let's take the example of the nationality. So the nationality are Indian, French, German, etc. So how to say? Suppose this is an Indian girl. Indian girl. So you have to use Indian after the noun. C'est une fille indienne. C'est une fille indienne. This is an Indian girl. We are using the feminine form indienne because of the fille. Fille is feminine. This is an Indian girl. Now let's take the example, another example like français. Français is French. So c'est un étudiant français. C'est un étudiant français. This is a French student, means a student from France. C'est un étudiant français. We are using français after étudiant. So similarly, all the nationalities you can use like this only. Now take the example of the adjectives defining shape and size. So let's take the example of round. So round is rond, rond. So in feminine, ronde, rond. So suppose the example, she has a round face. Elle a un visage rond. Elle a un visage rond. Visage is face. So she has a round face. We are using rond after visage. Now let's take the example of the adjective narrow. Narrow. Narrow is étroit. Étroit in the feminine. Étroit. So if you have to say this is a narrow street or this is a narrow road, c'est une rue étroite. C'est une rue étroite. So we are using étroit, the feminine form, after rue. So you have to use the adjectives defining shape and size like this after the noun. So there are many more adjectives which can be used after the noun, which can be, of course, like can't be categorized under these three divisions only, like color, nationality, and shape and sizes. So all the adjectives we can't discuss in a single video, as a separate video will be required. So for this, what you can keep in mind that the majority of the adjectives must be used after the noun except the few of them which we have discussed in the starting of the video. So that's all for today. If you like this video, so please share it with French language learners and do subscribe the channel as well. So hope to meet you soon in my next video. Till then, take care. Au revoir.